Welcome to Management of Portfolios Foundation course about One World Training. One World Training is a global training, business simulation and training company, and it has offices in the US, UK, the Netherlands, and other parts of the world. We provide training in IT, business management, project management, and several other standards. We deliver courses in different ways, public classroom-based training, online, from home, e-learning, a blended approach are some of the ways in which we deliver our courses. One World Training is an authorized training center endorsed by leading global professional bodies. Right at the bottom of this slide, you see a lot of our accreditation. This particular module, which is Management of Portfolios, is accredited by PeopleCert on behalf of Axelos. The MoP Foundation course is broken down into 7 modules. In module number 0, we would introduce you to the MoP examination, the various best practices that are aligned with MoP, the scope of MoP, and who are the potential target audiences, and so on. And in module 1, we would look into the overview, which would cover syllabus area number 1. In module number 2, we would look into implementing, sustaining, and measuring portfolios. This would cover syllabus area number 2. In module number 3, we would look into the strategic and organizational context of portfolio management, and this would cover syllabus area number 3. In module number 4, we would look into the principles of portfolio management, which would cater to syllabus area number 4. In module number 5, we would look into one of the 2 cycles of portfolio management, which is the portfolio definition cycle, which would cater to syllabus area number 5. And module number 6 would cover the second cycle, which is a portfolio delivery cycle. We would look into some of the practices under the delivery cycle, which would cover syllabus area number 6. And finally, in module number 7, we would cover the roles and documentations pertaining to portfolio management. And please keep in mind that module 0, which is the current module, is an introductory module, and the next 7 modules are aligned with the 7 syllabus areas of MoP Foundation examination. So let's dive into module number 0. In this particular module, we would look into the guide used for MoP examination. What are the various best management practices of Axelos? MoP is not a standalone framework. There are a lot of other frameworks which are aligned with MoP. We shall look into some of those standards and frameworks. What is the purpose and scope of MoP? Whom does MoP benefit? Who are the target audiences? What are the various syllabus areas and the breakdown of questions? And we would look a bit into the MoP Foundation examination details. So let's kind of look into MoP and Axelos best management practice guidance. So on this particular slide, on the right side, you see various standards of Axelos. Let me take you through each of these ones. So at the bottom, you have Prince 2. Prince 2 is the best management practice for managing projects. If you're working on single standalone projects, how do you go about managing the scope, time, cost, quality, so on of a single isolated project? So we have best practice guidance on managing isolated projects. But if you're managing a group of related projects, you might want to look into MSP, which basically stands for Managing Successful Programs. Now, MSP is a best management practice for managing a group of related projects. Now, right above MSP is MoP, which is the current module that we are looking into. MoP stands for Management of Portfolios. So MoP is a best practice management for managing a group of programs and projects. It's all about a collective management of projects and programs at a portfolio level. Cutting across all of these 3 products is your management of risk framework. This is where risks need to be managed at the project, program, and portfolio level, and we need to identify value, which is what MOE stands for across all the projects, programs, and portfolios. And these are the two standards that kind of cut across projects, programs, and portfolios. And then you have the P3O. The P3O stands for Portfolio, Program, and Project Offices. These are support structures for your project boards, program boards, and portfolio boards. So P3O provides guidance on support services offered by project, program, and portfolios. And then you have ITIL. ITIL stands for Information Technology Infrastructure Library. So these are the best management practices for IT services. So the latest edition is ITIL version 4. So there are a range of products under ITIL. And on the extreme left of the diagram, you have a couple of maturity assessment frameworks. You have the P3M3 framework, which stands for Portfolio, Program, and Project Management Maturity Model. And then you have the P2MM, which is Prince2 Maturity Model. These are maturity models which help us understand the level of maturity at the project, program, and portfolio level. Where do we stand as an organization as of today? And where is it that we desire to move in our maturity? So it kind of gives us an opportunity to put an improvement plan in place to increase our maturity in the P3M space. So that's a little bit about the various best management practices and how MoP is kind of aligned with the rest of them. So let's kind of briefly look into the purpose and scope of MoP. The purpose of MoP is to provide practitioners with universally acceptable principles and practices that will enable individuals and organizations, both large and small, to successfully introduce or re-energize portfolio management approaches. Now, please keep in mind, this is a framework not only that helps in introducing management of portfolio best management practices, but if you already have some practices in place, this framework would really help you re-energize those approaches within the organization. So what's the scope? Portfolio management can be applied in a variety of situations. You could think about portfolio at an enterprise level. You could think about portfolio at a departmental level. For example, you might have a marketing department or a HR department. Well, this could be departments or functional areas. So you could kind of have portfolio thinking at the departmental or functional level, or you could have enterprise level thinking on the portfolio. The focus at MoP is on the organization's collective investment in programs and projects or change initiatives that are focused on contributing to the achievement of the strategic objectives and business priorities. Now, one of the key ideas behind portfolio thinking is a collective management of programs and projects. How do we make sure that we have all of these change initiatives aligned with the strategic objectives? So that is a key element of scope within MoP. Now, the next slide talks about the target audiences. Who shall benefit from this particular framework? Anyone with an interest and or role in delivering programs and projects and organizational strategy from inception to delivery would benefit from this best practice. And this includes members of management boards. These could be investment committees, steering committees, decision makers up on the top, and directors of change, senior responsible owners, people who champion programs within the organization, portfolio, program, project, business change, and benefits managers, business case writers and project appraisers, and also those in other functions, departments with a role in delivering strategic objectives could benefit from this particular framework. Now let's briefly look into the syllabus areas of MoP. What are the areas that you would be tested on? So on to the left, you have 7 syllabus areas. You would be tested on the overview of the best management practice. This is covered in chapter 2 of your MoP official guide. This would cover 4 questions at level 1 and 3 questions at level 2. Now, what do we mean by level 1? Level 1 basically is a learning that requires a recall of concepts, whereas level 2 is a learning that requires identifying concepts. So that's the science behind the levels. Now, the second syllabus areas is implementing, sustaining, and measuring portfolio management. This is covered in chapter 5 of the official guide, and appendices A and F are relevant to this particular syllabus area. So this syllabus area would contain 2 questions at level 1 and 3 questions at level 2. The third syllabus area is a strategic and organizational context. Where does portfolio management fit in as a part of the larger strategy and organizational context? And this is covered in chapter 3 of your official guide. It would contain 1 question at level 1 and 6 questions at level 2. And then you have portfolio management principles. This is covered in chapter 4 of the official guide. 1 question at level 1 and 5 questions at level 2. Your portfolio definition cycle and your portfolio delivery cycle are covered in chapters 5, 6, and 7. And those would have questions 2 at level 1, 7 at level 2, 2 at level 1, and 10 questions at level 2 for the delivery cycle. And finally, we shall look into the syllabus area that pertains to roles in portfolio management and the various documents we create. And the relevant references would be appendices B and E in your guide. And this would contain 2 questions at level 1 and 2 questions at level 2. So altogether, it's 14 questions at level 1 and 36 questions at level 2. So that would kind of make it a total of 50 questions. You would be examined on 50 questions in the foundation exam. You shall be given 40 minutes, and the expectation is to get 50% pass. So that is a little bit about the examination. So a quick summary, we looked into the guide used for MoP examination, the various best management practices of Axelos, the purpose and scope of MoP. We looked into the target audiences for MoP, the various syllabus areas and the breakdown of questions. And finally, we looked a bit into the examination details.